All right. Good morning, everyone. Put my volume on. Okay, I see all the members here, executive board members. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Anthony. Welcome to our February CPAC meeting. Thank you for joining us this beautiful morning. Cold weather, of course. Um, my name is Rosa Diaz. I am the chair of CPAC and would like to introduce the members that are currently here. So I'm going to pass the baton to Randy.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Randy Garay. I am the Brooklyn High School President's Council representative. And I'll pass it to Erica.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Erica Newsom Rodriguez, and I am the second vice president. And I'm trying to see who's on.
Josephine.
Jocelyn, and we'll pass it to Jocelyn.
Good morning. My name is Josephine Cangelosi, and I am District 20 President's Council. I will pass it to Ashley.
Well, sunset till we get it, but I think there'll be a.
Please make sure that you're muted. I'm not sure if Ashley is here. She was having
I will pass it to Becca.
Hi, I'm District 30, Treasurer CPAC.
Thank you, Becca. All right, thank you. Let me share my slides. Give me 1 second. Right, everyone is able to see my slides? Yes. Thumbs up.
Yes.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, let us start. Come on. There we go. Yay. Let us start with acknowledging and, of course, celebrating Black History Month. Black History Month is to be celebrated every single day, sending a powerful reminder that Black history is American history. Black culture is American culture, and Black stories are essential to the ongoing education of America. February is also a Heart Health Month. We need to continue to raise awareness about heart disease. Starting with ourselves, self-care is really important. Fill your cup with love, relaxation, celebrate life every single day. As stated, this is the executive board members for this school year, excuse me. I am your chairperson. First vice chair already introduced herself, Ms. Randy Gray. Second vice chair, Ms. Erica Newsom Rodriguez. Recording secretary is Ms. Ashley Mulero. The corresponding secretary is Josephine Cangelosi. And our treasurer is Rebecca Staley. And please make sure to mute yourself. We are going to start with the CPAC procedures and standing rules. Let me just remind everyone that we have Erica for this slide. Erica, are you available by any chance?
Yes, I am.
Thank
Hi,
you.
good morning. Good morning again.
Erica, do you
Yeah.
mind reading the whole CPAC procedures and standing rules? There's a lot of people that may not know this information. Is it okay?
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. And so we'll start with and good morning to all. We'll start with the CPAC procedures and standing rules. To ensure that our CPAC meetings run smoothly, fairly, and in compliance with our CPAC bylaws, we ask you to respect the following procedures and adaptations. Please do not speak until recognized by the chairperson, who will be assisted in managing the meeting by our parliamentarian. Please limit your comments and questions to 2 minutes to ensure maximum participation by the greatest number of representatives. The parliamentarian will be monitoring the time allotted. Remember that the order of speakers per our bylaws is A, executive board, B, voting members, C, non-voting members. If there is time, the chair will recognize the person to speak. We want to make sure that we hear from as many people as possible during the course of the meeting. Therefore, there'll be times when we do not call on someone who has just spoken. Please understand this is an attempt for fairness. All voting members have first seating preference at the table when in person and virtually on Zoom. Membership must be clearly identified by displaying the membership identification plaque when in person and or their district number by renaming themselves on Zoom. Participants listening and reflecting that the district, participants listening and reflecting the district they represent. Please note that if the president is not present at the table and or Zoom, the designee is the voted representative for that district and is able to vote on the matters of membership. Alternatives must have written notice from the President's Council presidents or designees, or an email sent to CPAC at info@cpacnyc@gmail.com, indicating they can speak and vote on behalf of their districts. For the purposes of voting on any CPAC business, only the voting members, designee of your district who is eligible to vote, shall be seated at the table and or virtually on Zoom. For additional information on meeting rules and procedures, please refer to CPAC bylaws, which are available upon request. A copy is available on the website at www.cpacnyc.com. Robert's Rules of Orders, newly revised, is the parliamentary authority used to govern unless inconsistent with these bylaws.
Thank you so much, Erica. We wanted to just remind everyone of these CPAC procedures and standing rules, which still stand. There we go. We already went through this. Okay. So with that being said, we are going to do a roll call of the members. And for that, we're going to have Ms. Rhonda Gray. We're starting the meeting at 9:40 a.m.
Good morning, everyone. The attendance form is dropped in the chat. If you could please rename yourself with your district or borough in front of your name. And we will now begin roll call. Ashley, District 1,
Here, Ashley. Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
District 2, District 2, District 3,
Present.
District 4.
Hi, Vandana Bonia, District 4.
Good morning. District 5, District 6,
Present.
District 7,
Present.
District 8.
Present, good morning.
Good morning. District 9.
Present. Good morning, Sheree Lee.
Good morning. District 10. District 11. District 12.
Good morning, Christy Hughes, District 12.
Good morning. District 13. District 14. District 15.
Present, Liz Grayson, District 15.
Good morning. District 16.
Present, Thais McCain, District 16.
Good morning. District 17.
Great morning, Veronica Clark.
Good morning. District 18.
Good morning, President Tanisha Johnson Bynum.
District 19. District 20.
Good morning.
Good morning. District 21.
Good morning, Cheryl Calandra here.
Good morning. District 22.
Good morning.
Good morning. District 23. District 24.
District 24 present.
Good morning. District
Good
25.
morning. Good morning. This is Rachel from District 25. I'm present. Thank you.
Good morning. District 26.
Present. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. District 27. District 28.
Good morning, Giselle.
Good morning, Giselle. District 30.
Present.
Oh, I'm sorry, District 29. I heard you, Becca.
Priscilla Montero, present. Good morning.
So sorry, Priscilla.
It's okay.
District 31.
District 31 present. Good morning.
Good morning. District 32. District 75. District 75, I saw 75.
Present. Good morning.
Good morning. This Brooklyn High School, I am here. Bronx High School. Manhattan High School.
Good morning, I am here.
Good morning, Rosa. Queens High School.
Sharon Walters, Queens High School, present.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Staten Island High School.
Good morning, present.
Good morning. Is there anyone I missed? Okay, I turn the floor back over to our chair, Rosa.
Thank you so much, Randy. We have so many districts in attendance and representing. I am super, super excited. Um, okay, so we have our agenda for today. It was already sent out. Um, we just finished doing roll call. We started with CPAC business and updates. And we're going to have the Office of the Chancellor. We're going to have two guests, Senior Director of Program Implementation, Tamara Mayer, Office of General Counsel, Senior Field Counsel Director, Charles Crowley. At 10 a.m. or around 10 a.m., we're going to have Chief of Policy and Evaluation, Niket Mo. At 10:20, we're going to have Family and Community Engagement Phase Updates by Jesse Mojica. At around 10:40 a.m., we're going to have our amazing CPAC liaison, Anthony Aguilar, with the new edition Hot Topics. At around 11 a.m., we're going to have our phenomenal Chancellor, Melissa Velez Ramos. And around 11:20, we're going to have our October minutes. We did not get the January minutes. We truly apologize for that. Around 11:30, we're going to vote on two resolutions. Hopefully, you guys are ready to vote and you guys have already reviewed it. And we're also going to do a quick review today. One of them is enhancing multilingual support and communications in New York City Public Schools by updating the Chancellor's Regulation A663 to current needs. Resolution affirming the status of New York City Public Schools as a welcoming district for all students. Updated. Actually, these both resolutions were by the CPAC Multilingual Language Learners Committee resolution. Thank you so much, Shirley. Shirley, we truly, truly continue our heavy advocacy and commitment to continue the committees. Please, please show up. And then we're going to have 11:40, we're going to have district borough updates. So please stay tuned and hopefully adjourning by 11:50. All right. Does anyone have any questions regarding the agenda? Okay. And we will be adopting the agenda. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
Motion to adopt D24.
Thank you, District 24. A second motion?
Motion to adopt Priscilla Montero, D29.
Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you so much. All right. And as you know, these are your monthly meetings for CPAC. We have been sending them in an email on a monthly basis. And if you request them, it's also on the CPAC website. Please review the CPAC website. It has all our information, events. It has a lot of PAPTA, President's Council guidance and everything. Let me just start sharing so we can start with the presentations. Okay, and our first presenter is the Office of Chancellor, Senior Director of Program Implementation, Tamara Mayer, and Charles Crowley.
Good morning. Actually, my name is Tamara Mayer. I proudly lead Project Open Arms, but we're part of the Division of Operations and Finance under Deputy Chancellor Emma Vadera. Can I start to share my screen? Hold on, let me pull. Share, slideshow. Okay, so today we're going to talk about protecting and supporting immigrant students. Again, my name is Tamara Mayer, and I proudly lead Project Open Arms. And I'm joined today by Charles Crowley. Charles, did you want to introduce yourself, Charlie? I'm sorry.
Sure. Thanks, Tamara. Hi, everybody. Charlie Crowley, Deputy Counsel and Director of the Senior Field Counsel Unit. And the Senior Field Counsel Unit is the group of attorneys that provide direct support to principals and superintendents. Thanks so much for being here today, and I'm really happy to have this discussion with you.
Thanks, Charlie. So what is Project Open Arms? So Project Open Arms is an and intra-agency collaborations with specific strategies and actions to support all new arrival students. So we are a New York City public school team working to support all of our newcomers. We continue working across our central teams to proactively identify operational challenges and supports for these students and families. And some of the things that we have been able to support our families with is improving the process to enroll for our newest New Yorkers, ensuring that shelter staff and teams are proactively supporting students and families, creating pathways to transportation. As a system, we've welcomed over 49,000 new students into our school since July of 22 from countries across the globe speaking various different languages. I want to share with you some of the general Project Open Arms offerings and supports, some of the systems and structures we have in place. So one of the things we have is a monthly Project Open Arms district leadership meeting where we meet with district team members from across the city. We work with our executive directors of student supports and operations, our student services managers who support our guidance counselors and our social workers, as well as our family support leaders and our family leadership coordinators who support our parent coordinators. And we also work with our STH regional managers who are New York City public school staff who support families inside of shelters. And during these meetings, we're able to share city policies. We talk about central supports available. The districts can provide feedback to us or ask for support. And we also share best practices because there are amazing best practices happening to support our families, and we're able to spread those practices across the city. We also have monthly Project Open Arms learning sessions. We have either 1 to 2 a month and different content. So we've talked about transportation eligibility, attendance, human trafficking, school nutrition. We just had one yesterday on spending STH funding, and those are open for school and district staff. We also meet with advocates monthly in our monthly advocate think tank, where they're able to tell us things that we may not be hearing from the schools. And then we work to identify challenges and collaborate on solutions. And then every week we have a cross-functional meeting where every team across New York City public schools is working to discuss and plan supports for our newest New Yorkers. Some of the trainings that we continue to work to offer are the Know Their Rights staff-facing trainings. So this provides an overview of the rights of migrant youth and families who reside in New York City under the relevant bodies of law. And this is held in partnership with Project Russo, as well as the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs. Additionally, we've been able to offer Know Your Rights family-facing trainings. We've done these both virtual and in person, and we work closely with the Office of Language Access to make sure that this information is available to our families in their native tongue. We also offer the non-local law enforcement protocol trainings. We've been able to do that for our superintendents, our principals, our school safety agents, our parent coordinators, our school transportation leadership, our DYCD CBOs that are working inside of our schools, and other school staff members as designated by the school principal. We're also working with the National Center for School Crisis and Bereavement to do trainings around supporting children and staff through trauma and loss. We've been offering these at least once to twice a month, really talking about how are we able to have conversations with kids about fear, and for the adults so that they can have those conversations, what to say, what not to say. And finally, we're working very closely with Swift Kansas University to talk about rightful presence. And rightful presence is to improve school culture where every student feels a sense of true belonging. So it doesn't matter if you're a New Yorker, an L, a student with a disability, LGBTQIA, we want you to know that you belong here in New York City public schools. And this is helping our school communities understand how to create rightful presence inside of their buildings. Some key reminders that were sent to our principals in December was, again, we're reminding for the students' rights to education. All children in New York City public school, regardless of immigration or asylum status, have their right to a public school education. New York City public schools does not collect or track immigration or asylum status. We also shared information about the McKinney-Vento Act, which is for the rights of students in temporary housing to enroll in and stay in their school or to transfer to a new school near their temporary housing location. This is incredibly important for our kiddos who may be impacted by the 60-day rule. We want our families to know that they have a right to stay in their school if that is their choice, or if the family wants to consider transferring to a new school near their new temporary housing location, that is also an absolutely okay choice. Whatever the family wants, we support them in their choices. Emergency contact information. It's important that schools have the most up-to-date contact information for students and families. So we want to make sure that we have working numbers. We sent this out in a P weekly in January at the beginning of the year. It's a great thing to do for all kids, but especially important as we think about our newcomers. Do we have numbers that are working? And who do we have in case of an emergency at the school? Who's that contact information? And then we're going to talk about the non-local law enforcement protocol. Non-local law enforcement, including ICE, cannot enter our schools except when legally required, which is a determination made by our lawyers. Staff must follow a strict protocol, which we'll cover today, and includes not taking any action without legal approval. And I'm going to turn it over to Charlie to walk us through the protocol.
Thanks, Tamara. So the protocol of non-local law enforcement comes to a school building or a relevant area, which includes bus stops and other areas. It's a very straightforward protocol that we have boiled down to essentially 3 steps. First step, get information. We want folks who are on the front line, who are interacting, to get information. The second is to contact and provide that information to senior field counsel for review. We want the lawyers to be the ones making these determinations. And the third is to follow specific instructions that will be provided by field counsel. We want to make sure that folks are not in the business of trying to determine whether something is a judicial order or an administrative order. The lawyers are trained to do that. My unit has been trained, and we're the ones that are going to make those determinations. So we're really rolling out these protocols to make sure that it's boiled down to those 3 simple steps, which is get information, contact legal, and then follow the very specific instructions provided by legal. And then we have resources on the best support for immigrant students during the transition. And all of that has been shared with our staff. We've rolled out these trainings, as Tamara mentioned before, to all principals, guidance counselors, social workers, Office of People Transportation, school safety agents, and we're continuing to roll them out. And we're going to make sure our entire staff is trained. They know the protocols. They know who to contact and when to contact and how to contact. And next slide.
I think that's basically it for us.
Quick.
Quick and easy. I'm going to stop sharing.
That was extremely fast.
Quick and to the point.
Quick and to the point.
Absolutely. I was just gonna say, if you have any questions, we'll be, I guess, taking a couple of questions. Raise your hand first. Do not just unmute. Thank you so much for the presentation. Thank you so much for supporting our school staff and providing the best accurate information and legal course to take when, God forbid, an incident happens, right? I know the Chancellor has been very clear about protecting our children and continuing to protect our children regardless of immigration status. Um, it hits me personally really hard. So I am looking forward to the Chancellor coming in today and discussing more about how to continue protecting our children and families. Let us take these questions. I only see one hand. Ms. Rima, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. So we, right, District 75, majority of our kids get bused, like some 97%. And the bus staff want clear training and guidance because the current guidance, for example, if they get home to a stop and the student's family is undocumented and ICE is outside the home and the family can't exit their home to pick up the child from the bus, what is the guidance? Because the current, or rather than what is the guidance, could you provide guidance to bus staff? Because the current guidance is to just stay on the bus. And that's not really guidance because then how long do you stay there? Do you drive away? Do you take the kid to the police department? Do you take them back to the school? Is there someone at the school waiting? How do they contact general counsel when they're not DOE employees? So lots of questions that don't have answers. And most of our kids are non-speaking, need a lot of support, maybe have some difficulties with behaviors. I have students that can't stay on the bus. I have students that are recommended for limited time and they have to only take a 45-minute or a 60-minute ride because they can't handle the time. So then what happens when you have a student that goes into crisis on the bus because they're outside their house, they can't go inside, and the bus staff are not equipped to deal with this? Maybe that student doesn't have a para, right? Maybe that student doesn't speak. Maybe that student doesn't speak English. Like there's a lot of issues, and bus companies, families of bus students have not received any guidance. The only guidance is to not open the door. That is not clear because how long are you going to sit there and not open the door? And at what point do you decide, like, what am I going to do with this kid? ICE is not leaving. What if you leave and come back and ICE is still there? Right? Because they know, oh, the bus showed up. So this parent has to come outside at some point and decide that they're not going to leave. So just really concerned about the D75 community. And for that matter, every community, everybody here, every single district has students that take the bus. So that's all of our issue. That's everyone here's responsibility to be fighting for these families and asking these questions that they're already overwhelmed with things that like using the bathroom and not getting hit every day and not worried about like these things. So how do we support our communities and how can you provide training and a pathway to legal counsel for all bus companies and staff? Thank you.
Thank you, Rima. Hope you were able to capture the questions in between the comments. It's a lot of concerns. I echo exactly what she said and more.
Yeah, I think it's an important point, and we are aware of it. And we've been working. We did do a training with bus dispatchers last month. We're working with the bus companies to really firm up training. We are rolling out more trainings. We're working with the union, and we've been working with the bus union, and we are going to roll them out. So we're on it. We're aware of it, and I think it's very important to us because I think, and it's an important flag for the District 75 community. So I appreciate that. But I do want to give some comfort that you know that we are rolling those out, and we will make sure all drivers are trained.
I believe she's talking about nurse. Is it in school? Because I don't know about nurse inside the bus.
I do see
Paras.
the nurses, the paras. I want to say that we've been able to train thousands of participants, and we continue to offer this training 1 to 2 times a week. And it's open now to any New York City public school staff, as long as their principal gives them the opportunity to attend. They're all posted on our info hub page, 1 to 2 trainings a week.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. We have another question. Adriana, you have the floor.
Yes, hi, thank you for that. So we've been given a lot of information as far as not allowing them to come into the school building and et cetera. And I don't even know if you can share this, but but I haven't seen any guidance as to if these kids are in school and something happens to the parents, like what kind of notifications or how can we assist these kids or the school when these kids are in the building and their families are not home because of whatever the circumstances are, or they were picked up or whatever it is. How do we go about it as a community to help these children that are still in school and have nowhere to go?
That's a really important question and one that's come up quite a bit in our trainings. That is why we've really tried to message out the importance of making sure updated blue cards, that families have updated blue cards with a trusted adult. We do have protocols in place whenever an emergency arises, should a parent not be able to pick up a student, but we want to make sure, and I think it's important to continue to message out that families need to update blue cards with a trusted adult, so that there is up-to-date information so somebody can pick up the student. But again, schools should have those protocols in place. Unfortunately, emergencies do happen and there are times where parents are not picking up the students, but the best messaging we can do right now, and that's why we have sent it out both to families and principals, is to make sure that those blue cards are updated and we have up-to-date emergency contacts.
I'm sorry, but it's not so much about the blue cards, but it's about supporting the children in the school. So like, I don't know if you shared it, if there's a protocol in place within the school with our staff to help support that child when they realize their parents or family are not coming to pick them up because of the circumstances.
Yeah, I mean that's where our protocols would kick in, right, for emergencies. And somebody from the school would stay with the student. We would hopefully there would be a trusted adult who could take the student. And if we would make sure that somebody is with the student at all times and that they're in communication with whatever family members they can.
Okay, thank you. I do have a question. Are you all guys also training the after-school CBOs and the school safety guards? Because I know they're not like DOE employees, but are you also training them to protect our children from,
Yep. Yeah, we have trained after school CBOs and we had very, very large turnouts for those, which was great. Tamara and I held 2 trainings already, and I think we had in total, don't quote me, I think the numbers were very high. It was well attended. And we have trained school safety throughout the city as well. So again, we're really trying to get everybody trained, and the trainings at this point we've opened up to anyone. So if somebody missed their particular training, we want them to attend. So please continue to message out.
Absolutely. We have 2 more questions. We have one question from District 18. Tanisha, you have the
Yes,
floor.
hi, good morning. My question is with one of our schools, we have the lock, not the door lock, but when they have to push to come in. But the question is during dismissal and during when the children are coming in, the doors are open. What is the protocol if ICE just comes in during those times when the doors are open?
Yeah, they shouldn't be doing that, right? So that's going to be we should not have anybody just walking in when the doors are open. That's going to be incumbent on school safety to stop the person from coming in and just walking through the building and making sure they sign in, identify themselves, give the requisite information. Nobody should be walking through our schools at any time, whether it's dismissal, entrance, or in the middle of the day. So that's part of the training. We're making sure folks are stopping people. Nobody should be walking through the buildings.
Thank you, Tanisha, for your question. I know I saw Bandana from District 4. Do you still have a question?
Hi, everyone. Yes, I do have a question. I heard the whole thing, and open arms, you said, is just for the new arrivals, but we have families that living here for a long time and their kids go to school. So is there any protocol in place for those families?
Same protocol. And Open Arms, while we were created to support our newcomers, we're supporting all of our immigrant students. So, but the protocol stands for any kid in New York City public schools. We're following the same protocol that Charlie was able to describe for us today.
Oh, wonderful. So is it okay if we announce this website in our PA mail? Because this is wonderful.
Please
Wonderful.
do.
In the schools, the district, everywhere. So all of us have to
Absolutely.
get together.
And we're constantly putting information on that
Because they're
site,
helping.
schools.nyc.gov/project open arms. That's where we're keeping all of our information. Please share far and wide.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And just in case it has been shared in the district, because I am a DOT District 4 representative, so it has been shared in the district. Thank you guys so much. If you're able to send me those slides so we can send it to all the members, that would be great. Please provide your information also in the chat. I see members are asking for your information. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Truly appreciate it. And we are over time. Thank you guys so much. This is very interesting thing we need to know in order to educate our parents, and protect our children.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for coming. Now we have the Chief of Policy Evaluation, Mr. Niked Mole. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name.
No, you got it. Great. So thank you. Hopefully you can hear me. As mentioned, I'm Niket Mole. I'm the chief for the Office of Policy and Evaluation, which also includes our Office of Assessment. I'm joined by my colleague, Michael Ryan, who is the executive director for the Office of Assessment. And collectively, we're always excited to talk about spring activities, including state testing. So we're honored and thankful to be invited here to spend a little bit of time speaking with all of you about it. I know as spring arrives, questions come up around state testing, and so we're happy to spend a little bit of time talking about it and hopefully answer any questions that may arise. So I'm actually going to hand it off to my colleague, Michael, to walk us through and share the presentation. But while he shares the screen and gets us going, Michael, if you want to introduce yourself, but we'll both be here to answer questions that you drop in the chat or raise up afterwards. Thank you.
Thanks, Niket, and thanks everyone for the invite and having us here today. Can I just get a quick check? Can everyone see my screen, the presentation? Great, thank you so much. So in our time this morning, just going to talk through the state tests for 3 to 8. Going to provide an overview. Going to talk about the transition to computer-based testing, the test dates and designs, some exemptions and accommodations, the benefits and participation as well, and can open it up for questions and discussions. So I just want to give a high-level overview about the state tests. The annual New York State ELA and math test will be administered to all students in grades 3 to 8 later this spring. Students in grades 5 and 8 also sit for the state science test as well. New York State meets its requirements, federal requirements under the Every Student Succeeds Act, or ESSA, by administering these tests. The tests are designed to provide important information about whether students are prepared to progress through school and graduate with the critical thinking, problem solving, and reasoning skills they need for long-term success in school, college, and careers, and to support students in their pursuit of economic security and a choice-filled life. And I really want to stress that these tests are just one of several measures schools use to assess student progress. Grades, report cards, writing samples, projects, assignments, and other performance-based student work are equally important. I like to say the tests are one tool in the toolbox. It's not the only tool, but it's one of many that are in educators' toolbox. The big thing about the state tests is we are in year 2 of a 3-year transition from paper pencil to computer-based tests. That transition started last year. So in last year's test, computer-based testing, or CBT, was required for grades 5 and 8, and it was optional in other grades. This year, the state is adding 2 additional grades for CBT, so it's required for grades 4, 5, 6, and 8, and remains optional in grades 3 and 7. And next year, they'll go full CBT for all testing grades. Last year, we had approximately 138,000 students test online for ELA and about 109,000 students test online in math. This spring, we're estimating the number of students testing online to 263,000 for ELA and about 237,000 for math. The dates for the administration are here. You'll see for CBT that there's wider windows, April 22nd to May 2nd for ELA. The paper test would be April 29th and 30th with a makeup from May 1 through 6th. Math, the CBT window opens on May 6th and runs to the 16th, and the paper tests are on May 7th and 8th with makeups on the 9th through 14th. And for science, the CBT window is May 13th through 16th. I just have some like visuals of what that looks like on the calendar. So you see that CBT window for ELA opens up the week after spring break. And the way it works with the CBT window, schools can choose which days within that window to administer the test. The only caveats is they have to test all students in a single grade on the same schedule, and talk a little bit about how it's each test is two sessions that are administered over the course of 2 days. So session 1 and session 2 have to be on consecutive days, but otherwise for CBT, schools can select those dates within that CBT window. When ELA wraps up, you'll see we move into the math CBT window, math paper, and then following the science CBT. I also have the scoring dates in here as well. So our office organizes the scoring of the state tests for both paper and CBT as well. So busy spring. Just I mentioned it earlier in terms of the test design. The ELA and math tests consist of 2 untimed sessions and are administered over 2 days with 1 session per day. Session 1 and session 2 for the ELA test includes both multiple choice and open-ended questions. And session 1 for math is strictly multiple choice, and session 2 for math includes both multiple choice and open-ended questions. And the science test, again, administered only in grades 5 and 8, is a single session that includes both multiple choice and open-ended questions. All 3 tests are untimed. Students who need more time will be able to work at their own pace to better demonstrate what they know and can do. I see in the chat there's a couple questions about accommodations available for students that prefer paper or need paper. So if the student has an IEP and the only way for us to meet the requirements of that IEP is a paper test, then that student will be provided a paper test. So even in a fully CBT world, we will still have some students still taking the test on paper. And students that need multi-day testing and cannot test within that 2-day window, as long as they test within the wider window, their schools can make those arrangements. There are some exemptions for students when it comes to these tests. And so those exemptions include students who are in accelerated math courses and that they would take a Regents exam. So we most commonly see this like some 8th graders who might be in an Algebra 1 course and they are going to take the Algebra and Regents at the end of that course. Those students would not take the grade 8 test, the state test for math. Accelerated math students can also be in grade 6 and 7 as well. Similarly, there's some students who are in accelerated science courses, and they would those courses result in a Regents exam. And so if those students are in those accelerated science courses, they would not take the state science test. First year L students are exempt from taking the ELA test. So students that arrived within the past year and have been identified as L students, they have a 1-year exemption for the ELA test. Students that take the New York State alternate assessment, they would take that assessment rather than the grade 3 to 8 test as well. And then medically excused students. So these are typically students in a medical facility for the duration of the test. They would be exempt from testing as well. In terms of accommodations, students must be provided with the testing accommodations specified in their IEPs and 504 plans when taking these tests. These accommodations could include, but are not limited to, flexibility in scheduling. So an example of that might be students that get provided frequent breaks during testing. Accommodations include flexibility in setting. And so again, an example, but not limited to students. Whoops. Okay. Sorry. Sorry, my screen went blank for a second and then jumped to page. My apologies.
It's okay. You're good. I just wanted to let you know, I'm sorry for the interruption.
Sure.
You don't have to like stop and answer any questions in the chat.
Okay.
We'll do that at the very end.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, back on track. Thank you so much. So flexibility in settings, those could include separate room and locations for testing. And then there's accommodations around method of presentation. So that could be revised test format, which could include Braille, large print, or test read. Revised test directions. So an example could be directions are read to students. The use of aids or assistive technology. And one of the examples of those might include masks and markers for students to maintain their pace when reading. And then also method of response, so like the use of a scribe. And so, if the student cannot write for the paper test or type for the computer-based test, and they have a 504, a scribe would be an example of a method of response accommodation. Ls and former Ls can be provided the following accommodations as well. They can test in a separate location. There are alternate language editions for both the math and science tests. The alternate language editions are paper copies of the test. So the student can, if for a CBT student that has this accommodation, they can choose, are they going to respond on the computer or on the paper copy? Schools will work with that student beforehand to make that decision prior to testing day. Bilingual dictionaries and glossaries are available for exams that are not translated by the state into alternate languages. Schools are allowed to provide oral translations for those lower incident languages for math and science. And students can write their responses for those open-ended questions in their home language for the math and science test as well. Some of the benefits of the state tests, they provide detailed information about whether a child is learning what is expected of them for their grade levels. It certainly helps schools determine how students are progressing and performing compared to their peers, and which students or teachers may need additional support, and allows you to learn how your child's school is doing compared to other schools. In terms of participation, we strongly encourage all students to take these tests because both parents and students benefit from the information we learn through the test results. State tests provide additional information on what each child is learning and help teachers and schools adjust support as needed. However, if parents are interested in opting their child out of state tests, they should consult with their child's principal. If after consulting with the principal, they still want to opt their child out of the exams, the principal will respect that decision. Our strong recommendation is that both the parent and the principal maintain a written record of that conversation. I realize I went through a lot of information in a really short amount of time. So I know there's a couple questions in the chat. I see the question about what about students who don't have technical abilities or don't have computer knowledge? What we really want to make sure is that that student is not being exposed to the computer-based test for the first time on testing date, right? And so the state does do a statewide simulation. We just wrapped it up. It was the end of January, and the statewide simulation provides a shortened version of the test that mimics the real test in terms of like the login procedures, all the functionality, And the expectation was that all schools across the state participated in that simulation. It's really like a no stakes opportunity for both the school staff and the students to be exposed to that testing platform. And then there are generic logins that students and schools can use throughout the outside the simulation window to be able to log into that testing platform as well. And so really want to provide students that opportunity to be exposed to that testing platform ahead of the actual test administration. If a student does not have an IEP, can they write on paper, then enter into the computer? Believe scrap paper is available, so students can work out on paper and then enter the responses onto the CPT platform. I see the comment about always documenting. Again, our strong directions to both schools and parents is to document that conversation around opting out. Another concern about having a person translate the test. The state does allow for this accommodation, and that there's a lot of flexibilities on who can provide that translation for schools. I'm going to keep on answering questions as they roll in, but folks can also like shout them out, or not shout them out, but raise their hands as well. All schools mandated to do the simulation last month. Yes, they were, and we're working with superintendents teams to follow up with schools that did not participate in the simulation. And again, we have those practice test logins that students can use if they did not participate in the simulation to log into the platform.
Michael, just in case there is a hand raised, I just want to acknowledge Ms. Bandana from District 4. Bandana, you have the floor.
Yeah, hi, thank you. Thank you, Rosa, always. I just have a quick question. I understand these protocols are set for our students, but is there any protocols that has been set for new migrant students about the testing, or what's the protocol for their testing? Because they are new, they can't catch up in 1 year or 2 year with our curriculum. So is there any protocol set aside for these students with their scoring or the testing?
So the new migrant students would have that exemption for the ELA test, so they would not test during their first year of enrollment on the state ELA test. They
And
sorry.
what about for mathematics?
For mathematics, they would be expected to test. There would be translated versions of that test, as well as the oral translations in languages that do not have a printed version of the test.
But then
Just
their
want to make
scoring.
sure we clarify for new admits, if they're English language learners, they would be provided that first year exemption. Not every incoming student to a New York City school is an English language learner, though, right? Just want to make sure we have that distinction.
But are we making any protocols? Because still they're new. Even though they are taking the mathematics exam, we don't expect them to score 3 or 4. Is there any exemptions on that for them?
There are no exemptions for new students from the math exam. Again, it's around the English language learners. Students may be coming in from the state of New Jersey or from Pennsylvania, right? So we want to make sure that we are capturing that information of where those students are academically, and then being able to share that back both with the family and with the school about where they may be succeeding or where they may be struggling. But again, the purpose of these exams is to better understand how those students are progressing through the state learning standards. We recognize some kids are going to be new and may not have been exposed to that content. And so I think a lot of the changes around how those test scores are used acknowledge some of those components as well. But want to be clear, there is no exemption for the math exam.
So, Niket, is
Thank
it?
you.
Thank you, Ms. Bandana. Niket, is it possible that you go back to the previous slide? The maybe is it the previous slide? Oh, sorry.
Sure, participation. Yep.
I think it's something about with the consult with a principal, right? You have like this is why it's very important to educate ourselves so we can educate our constituents. We are well, I am Manhattan High School's President's Council president, and then we take it to our constituents, and those PAPTAs are able to take it to their own constituents. Parents have the right to opt out, Bandana. This is why we wanted to have this communication and transparency to provide the information for the parents. Um, if you see on the screen, it says if parents are interested in opting their child out of the state test, they should consult with their child's principal, right? Because communication is key. If after consulting with the principal, they still want to opt their child out of these exams, the principal will have to respect their decision. Right, the parent and the principal should maintain a written communication because this is proof that it did happen, that you did ask to be opt out. This is very important for parents, and please bring it to your districts. Parents have rights, students have rights. I have 3 kids. I opted one out of the taste test. The other one, like was able to do it, right? Every single child is different, and every single child is unique and have their own special
Okay.
abilities. So yeah,
I
absolutely.
understand. I understand you're saying the parents can opt out their kids, but in their record, it's gonna be an explanation why they did opt out for that year,
That's
or
a
it's
good
just
question.
refusal to, because it goes in their record, right? They opt out for their exam. It might not,
but
they might
Dana,
not be up to date now, but later on it shows.
right, let Niket or Michael answer that for us.
Certainly we want to know every reason why a child does not participate in the state test, but there's no, like when you say it's in their record, not sure what the potential concern is, but it is not like factored into like admissions programs or decisions as to why a child did or did not participate in a particular state test. So.
Right. Thank you so much. I do have 3 more questions. These come up in different districts. They ask, will the school lose funding? Will the teacher be fired? And what happens when the child cannot do the computerized based testing on the computer, obviously. So those 3 questions, if you're able to quickly answer so we can move on with the agenda.
Sure. I guess I would say largely the answer to the first 2 questions is no. There is a federal requirement that 95% of students do participate in all in all mandated testing. Certainly, if a school or a district falls below that threshold, there may be conversations or participation improvement plan, so to speak. But in terms of direct funding to a school around participation, the requirement is 95% participation. We have not seen a funding impact over the years. So just want to be clear on that. Will the teacher be fired over participation? No, there is no kind of tie into the teacher as to whether or not their students do or do not participate in the state test. We do want to be clear that our goal is to have as many and all kids participate in the state test at all. There shouldn't be reasons why a teacher or a school leader dissuades or discourages a child from participating in the test in order to quote unquote game how well their school or their particular class may look based on their individual students' performance, right? So that is something that is prohibited. But I think that is not the gist of what you are asking, and so I just wanted to answer the question that no, there is no no tie-in to the teacher, whether or not you as a parent decide to have your child participate or not participate. I drew a blank on the third one, but I think it was around if the child is not prepared to participate in the computer-based test, and Michael can clarify for me. We do want to make sure that kids are engaging in this type of technology on a regular basis throughout their school experience, right? It's not just that the computer is utilized the 2 days of the year in which they're participating in the state test. Schools may be utilizing technology on a regular basis through a variety of programs, and so part of that is getting them familiar with leveraging that technology throughout. They may be participating in classroom-based assessments or activities on a computer, might be responding to story prompts or questions throughout, whether it's a unit test or a formative assessment that an individual class, grade, or school may be participating in. So there are a number of entry points for students to engage with technology along the way. But hopefully that helps dissuade that. The simulation and the other components are intended to help just make sure that they're familiar with the specifics of this state exam, but should not be the only time in which kids are seeing technology in the course of their normal day.
Thank you so much. I do see District 12, Christy. Please make your question real quick because we are 13 minutes over time.
No problem. I just have a really quick question. So I'm a little confused. Maybe I'm not understanding right. The state exam, because you're talking about the fact that some people have their kids opting out. Is that not mandatory to take the state exam? Like, I'm a little confused by that because I mean, clearly times have changed from when I was in school, obviously. I mean, I'm 34, so I get it. But I thought it was a mandatory thing that children are supposed to take the state exam, How would they know exactly, the level they're on with, certain things if they're not taking the exams?
Yeah, I think, and I'll just briefly answer. Yes, I mean, I think that's exactly one of the primary benefits for families is to be able to understand and know how is their child doing, how is their child's school doing, or how is their child doing in relation to other kids within their school, within their community, and across both New York City and across New York State, right? So I think that's one of the benefits of a standardized assessment. The ability to be able to put one individual performance in relative understanding to a broader set. It is required and expected, but we also acknowledge and want to respect a parent's individual decision. Should they decide that participating in the state test is not something that they want to do, that is a decision that we want to respect on a parent's behalf. So if two things can be true, yes, they're required to participate and sit for the state exam, but we also want to respect the parent's individual decision here.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, so we are now thanking you both for the presentation. Please, if you're able to send it over so we can send it to all the members so they can have the same information as you guys presented. As always, people still don't know, right? And this is why we strive to educate our parents so they can educate their own constituents. Thank you so much. We're going to move the agenda along because we're 16 minutes past time. I'm so sorry. I just love information. Okay, so now we have our amazing Jesse. Yay! I pass the baton to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, members. Always an honor and privilege to be at your meeting. Just wanted to give a few of our FACE updates. One is just updating since our last conversation with CPAC. We've had 3 town halls. The last one was in District 10 on February 10th, on District 30 on February 3rd, and preceding District 30 was District 13 on January 30th. I wanted to thank all of the parent leaders, all of the CEC members for their support. All town halls went very, very well, and that cannot happen without obviously the partnership and support of the parental leadership in the district. So thank you so much. Wanted to spend some time this morning talking about CC elections. So the deadline to apply for the community and citywide council elections is approaching. That is February 16th, Sunday, February 16th. Once again, if parents are interested in running and they've yet to submit their applications, we highly encourage them to do so via their NICSA account before the deadline. And if there's an issue or they don't, have a NICSA account, to please connect with their parent coordinator to have that set up for them. But we definitely want to stress the fact that the elections application is open. It is, deadline is fastly approaching. Anyone with questions about applying can reach out to us here at elections 2025 at schools.nyc.gov. And also visit our CC elections page at on.nyc.gov/elections 2025. And members, I'll put this information in the chat after my conclusion of my remarks so that you can share that as well. And we, as always, we appreciate your support in getting the word out and appreciate your support in sharing this information. I'm always reminded, like I'll talk more about the elections, but I'm always reminded that one of the most powerful messages in kind of sharing the importance of parent leadership is all of you have your own personal motivations like that inspired you to run as parent leaders. We understand that taking on the responsibility of parent leadership is no easy task. You are constantly, solving problems, representing on issues, being strong advocates for your community. And so all of you have very, very specific motivations as to what started you in this journey. And I always share that for me, my journey started in District 8 many, many years ago. Had a birthday on Monday, so I'm feeling my age, but many, many years ago, when my son was diagnosed with autism, and we didn't know anything. My wife and I didn't know anything about autism. And it was, a difficult time in the sense that, Adam had lost his language and he was going through quite a lot of changes, and we as parents didn't know how best to reach him, how best to help him. So my wife basically said to me that we had to get involved in the education system, that was the key in reaching our son, and that's what we did. And we got involved in District 8 in the Bronx and went to meetings. And I remember the first meeting I went to, I was nervous, scared, knew nothing about the rules, the regulations. I've had parent leaders on the mic speaking before me that were so knowledgeable, and I knew nothing. And I was so afraid to lend my voice to the conversation. I remember very vividly my wife pushing me literally to the microphone to speak. And I said to her, what do I say? And she says, just tell them how much you love your son. It starts with that. And I've never forgotten that. I've never forgotten that lesson. I've never forgotten the importance of lending. It started first with Adam, but then it's, as all of you know very well, it starts first with your child, and then it evolves to other children. And then all these children become your children in your advocacy. So I just want to let you know that it's just your own personal stories, and sharing your own personal stories, if you feel comfortable, is one of the greatest examples of the importance of being a parent leader. And definitely there's no better messenger than the members of the Chancellors Parent Advisory Council and our CEC members. So also wanted to share a few things that we're doing. We've had quite a few things to help spread the word. Just yesterday, we had what we call election drop-in sessions. And what that is that for applicants or people who are prospective applicants who have questions about the application, need help and support, we had sessions to help them do that. Like our last session was yesterday, our latest session was yesterday. And obviously, if parents, or you find parents that have questions about, I'm in the application, but I'm unsure about this, I'm sure about that, please have them reach out to us, at elections 2025 at schools.nyc.gov. And that, we'll answer any questions they have, but those were things that we were doing to help support parents. We also had prospective candidate webinars, our last one was on February 4th. Previous one before then was in January, where we invited prospective candidates and we talked to them about the CEC. We talked to them about the roles and responsibilities of the CEC. We shared personal stories. we took questions, about the process, really kind of to help support. Like we wanted parents to make a very informed decision on, is this something that I want to do? Because there are many ways that you can lend your voice. Definitely one way and very important way is to be a member, of a council. Another way is to vote, to vote for the members of the council and lend your voice in that respect. So we felt that these prospective candidate webinars were very important to be able to have conversation with parents, about the CEC and answer their questions. And there was a wide range of questions. There were questions that were very specific about the process, and there were just general questions about the time commitment and what it took to be able to serve on a CEC. So we were very, very happy to do those. We're continuing our elections working group, and I know that there are some members on CPAC who are part of the elections working group, and I just want to say that the elections working group is, open to everyone. Like if you've missed the first two working groups, that is absolutely okay. You could join at any time. And our next session will be on February 27th. So if you are interested, you could email me directly at jmojica, M-O-J-I-C-A, at schools.nyc.gov, and happy to add you to our elections working group. And I'll put all this in the chat afterwards, members. Also, as far as the elections, we have been in conversation with our PCs, and having regular conversations with our parent coordinators, regular conversations with our FLCs and FSCs, because these are our colleagues and partners in the districts and at schools, and working closely with them to be able to share information on the campaign and answer any questions. So we wanted to thank our parent coordinators and our family leadership coordinators, family support coordinators throughout the city and their support. And candidate forums. And obviously, CPAC, President's Council plays a critical part in so many aspects of the campaign, but in particular in the candidate forums. And I know that we have been reaching out to our President's Council members to begin to schedule the candidate forums and begin to make preparations for them. We are also, members, going to be holding a CC election candidate forum overview on February 20th, and we'll share information just to bring the President's Council presidents together, the members together, to talk about the candidate forums, begin to, share some share some guidance, share some toolkit to be able to help, in the facilitation of the candidate forum. And then there's also going to be a question and answer, within that candidate overview, because I know that in candidate forums, there's a lot of different aspects to it. I know there are a lot of different questions with regards to the candidate forums. Like one of the questions that we get a lot is that there are parent leaders who serve in different capacities, right? Like they could be running, for a CEC, and they're also, a member of the President's Council. How we're able to, in a sense, account for that, and and just very quickly, just ensuring that when the questions are developed, if you're running, that you're not part of the creation of those questions, and just kind of ensuring that there's certain guidelines and rules that are followed, which members I know that you're very, very familiar with. Pretty much every single member who's on this call has participated in candidate forums in previous elections, so I know that I'm sharing things that you already know. But I just want to let you know that these are the things that we're going to do very deliberately, like in our overview session, to help support you, to help ensure that the candidate forum sessions go well, and that all of your questions are answered and that you're supported properly. Also wanted to mention, I know I mentioned a lot about the election, but also wanted to talk about our Science of Reading series. So we launched another Science of Reading series last week, and over 1,100 attendees attended that Science of Reading session. And that is just a powerful statement as to one, the both need and the success of this particular ongoing initiative. And definitely, I want to acknowledge our Deputy Chancellor for her leadership in the creation of these initiatives and the continued success of them. But that's an impressive number for for any meeting, and we're just very encouraged by that. And our next session is actually this evening. But just to let everyone know a little bit about it, what we're doing is we're partnering with an organization, Brain Trust, to design a targeted intervention program aimed at improving the literacy skills of students in K through 8, and at the same time fostering strong family involvement. So there will be high impact tutoring for students, and there'll be literacy workshop for parents. So basically in supporting the student and as well as in supporting the parent. And sorry, members, I want to make sure I cover everything. And then also on April 16th will be our next parent coordinator conference. So we are also in constant conversation and support of our parent coordinators who work tirelessly at our schools to support our families. And we'll be having our next parent coordinator conference on April 16th, and we'll share more information as we get closer to the date. I know that we're running short on time, Madam Chair, so I want to be conscious of that. I'll just stop there and definitely happy to answer any questions.
Oh, you don't have to stop. You need to continue and finish this.
Okay.
You can just yeah, just continue with everything that you needed to say, of course. I'm not gonna
Appreciate it. Appreciate it, Madam Chair. So I think that those were the main points that we wanted to make. Once again, we will be reaching out to the members of the President's Council and inviting you to that information session on February 20th to begin to prepare for the candidate forums. We know that there are questions with respect to the forums, and we do have guidance documents and toolkits that we have that we're going to be sharing at those respective conversations. So we're happy to do that. And let's see, I'm just double checking. And yep, I think that is everything that we had to cover, Madam Chair. I'm happy to take any questions.
Awesome, awesome. So because we are it's like 10:50 literally right now, so we are right on time. We're gonna go ahead and give the space to Anthony Aguilar, which is a CPAC liaison to the hot topics. Thank you so much, Jesse. Always appreciate all the information that you bring. And we're also gonna share, please put the information in the chat. I mean, you've sent it numerous times via email, but we're gonna continue sharing the information with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, members.
Good morning, everybody. So last month for our hot topics, we had an FLC, Georgette from District 21, give a brief synopsis of what they do in District 21 in regards to election. Today, I'm going to go in a little deeper on nomination committees and elections. So how to create your nomination committee. It should be hosted at a meeting where you are getting anywhere from 3 to 5 volunteers to volunteer to join this committee. One thing we have to make sure is that whoever is volunteering is not running for a position on this PTA. Also, graduating parents can also be a part of this committee. So we do not, just because they're graduating doesn't mean they can't participate. The roles and responsibilities of this committee is to identify potential candidates by soliciting for recommendations or nominations and a little talking point on why they want to be occupy this seat, essentially. To send out notice about the meetings, to create ballots, to inform the principal on the election day. So you're going to form the executive board, and they will inform the principal of the school by April 1st, and then essentially to hold the meeting. So basically, this committee is deciding everything on how this election will work from beginning to end. Once this election is done, their job as the election committee is done. One thing I talked about was notice. Some of the things that should be on this notice is the date, time, and location of the meeting, the positions that are going to be filled, which is all of them, and a brief synopsis on what those positions entailed would be lovely. Term limits, um, the format of the meeting. So one thing we have to remember is that elections can be hosted fully in person or fully virtual. However, we cannot have hybrid elections. Okay, that's one thing I want to stress. Um, yes. One thing we also encourage is that we try to get elections done before the end of June. Why? Because after that, the principal will be the one to coordinate this meeting. So essentially, you're losing your autonomy as a parent leadership structure to host your own elections. As of September, when the election process comes to fruition, that will be the principal who is coordinating that meeting, not the parent members. So that you have your own autonomy, we encourage you to try to get as many elections done before the end of the school year. What happens if your PAPTA cannot create or form a nomination committee? Then what happens then is that the executive board will convene and discuss the formats and the different methods on how they would like to host this election. So they will essentially be the ones to coordinate everything. If for some reason you cannot get nominations for positions, you can run it close to a executive um, election. Sorry, expedited election, where you are taking nominations from the floor at the elections. However, that if that is going to happen, that has to be on the notice as well. Okay, so one thing about elections is we should be as transparent as possible. Also refer to your bylaws and chancellor's regulations so that you are in compliance so that grievances don't take place. So that's it for the election portion and the nomination committee portion. One other thing that I want to bring up is the President's Council and CEC joint meetings. These should be taking place combined. Depending on who is hosting this meeting depends on if open meetings law applies. So if the President's Council is holding this a meeting, open meetings law doesn't apply. However, if the CEC is hosting this meeting at one of their meetings, open meetings law does apply, which means that it must be open to the public. Excuse me. And follow all their mandates. One thing that we should be thinking about, if you haven't already on the CEC, is legislative breakfast. And this is where at this joint meeting, you can talk about this and how you both can support the district. That's it for my section. I'll pass it back to Rosa.
Yes, thank you so much. This is very important because a lot of parents, look at that, have questions, right? When does it happen? And do we have to do SLT elections, or is automatically goes to the next year with the same members? When is Title I elections? You know, like all these questions and we try to educate parents of all these questions in 1 second. But let me go real quickly to Rima's question.
Thank you. If the CEC makes quorum in the joint meeting, doesn't the meeting become open because they have too many members there?
So it depends who is hosting the meeting. If it's at a president's council meeting, it's subjected to their rules. So they have to make quorum. If it's at a CEC, then it follows their rules. So it depends who is hosting that meeting, essentially.
So I remember when we used to do ECC meetings in person, that one council couldn't send more than 5 people because if you made quorum in the meeting, it would then be subject to open meeting law. So I just want to be like really clear about that because I think that's a thing.
Mhm.
I don't think it matters who's hosting. I think it matters how many CEC members are present.
Anthony, you want to repeat maybe for people that did not hear about if President's Council is hosting, it goes by President's Council's regulations, which like we're you want to like emphasize that because I don't think Rima heard you.
Sure. So what I said, it depends on who's hosting the meeting, essentially. So if it is the president's council who is hosting the meeting, it is not subjected to open meetings law. If the CEC is hosting the meeting, yes, they have to follow their um, open meetings law mandate by the law.
Veronica, you have a question? Veronica, you have the floor. District 17.
Okay, thank you. I was trying to unmute. Good morning again. It's just something leading to PAs and PTA. I know I had spoke about it last year, and I'm just wanting to know, just like a follow-up question to find out if there was any information about it. We had asked the previous chancellor about PAs and PTA having instead of 1 year term, a 2 year term, just like every other the SLT and Title I. So I was just wondering if there was any update on that. Thank you.
So no, there isn't an update, but I can bring it up again.
Thank you.
No problem.
Can I just respond quickly? Hi, Veronica. Thank you for that question. It's just we need to finish closing out the revision of A6. We have one regulation that's pending the revision and getting it through the PEP. And then once we get that done, we'll start the revision here. It is a long process. We have a lot of folks that need to chime in on the revision process. But we are getting that further and further along. And hopefully by the end of before the end of this year, we're able to put that to the PEP, and then we'll start revisiting this regulation because we have to do a change in the regulation in order to change it from 1 year to 2. So that's where we are with that.
Greatly appreciated.
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Deputy Chancellor Christina. Okay, so we are going to move the agenda along because we are right on time and our Chancellor is here. So I'm going to pass the baton if you're ready.
Yes, I'm so sorry. My internet is a little spotty, so I apologize to everyone. I'm just going to leave my camera off just to make sure that I can be heard. More important than you seeing me. So good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. Of course, I want to thank co-chairs Rosa Diaz and Randy Garay for always welcoming me into this space, and all of our CPAC members. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here with all of us. And I also want to thank District 13, District 30, and District 10 for hosting town hall meetings and engaging their communities District 10, thank you so much for your flexibility. My daughter and I both got hit with the flu this week, and you welcomed me virtually, so I deeply appreciate that. These town halls are extremely valuable opportunities to hear directly from families and stakeholders, and my team takes it very, very seriously. We often debrief on all of the feedback, and it really helps guide our work forward. So, of course, I wanna just thank you so much for taking those so seriously, and we look forward to continued engagement and meaningful discussion. It's been a busy few weeks. We're currently celebrating Respect for All. And just as a reminder, we celebrate diversity and practice respect year-round in New York City Public Schools, but this week is a special time for us to really uplift that work, and talk about all the amazing things that are happening across our schools. There have also been incredible activities happening across the 5 boroughs. So I encourage you to follow us on social media to learn about just a sampling of the RFA Weeks events. We also had World Read Aloud Day, which was so much fun. We had 1,200 plus volunteers reading over 1,300 books with over 3,100 students across the city. So that's totaling more than 6,200 minutes of reading. And on February 5th, we hosted a climate action day focused on energy, where schools participated in climate-related activities. And last week, we also celebrated Black History Month with a terrific event at our central offices at Tweed. And so I saw many of you there, and I really want to thank you for always joining us in those celebrations. But I would be remiss if I don't remind us all that it is also Dominican Heritage Month. And so we want to make sure that we always celebrate everything that we possibly can to uplift all of our amazing community members. Special shout out to my DC, Doctora Melendez. Um, so of course, let's remember that we celebrate everyone and everything here at New York City Public Schools. And our Black History Month celebration included incredible student performers from PS 103 in the Bronx and the Urban Assembly School for the Performing Arts. And as I said in my remarks at the event, Black history is American history. We will continue to honor and celebrate Black history throughout the year. It is super important that we lean into our Hidden Voices series. We also have our Black Studies curriculum with our soon to launch HBCU Early to College Prep School, and so much more to come. So I look forward to hearing all of your questions, and I'm really happy to be here with all of you. And with that, I'll pass it back over to you.
Thank you so much. I thought we were gonna go over time, but we're like literally right on time. We are gonna have Randy do the questions. I know we have a long list. We've been piling up a lot of questions, but bear with us. Randy, take it away.
Okay. Good morning, Chancellor. I really hope you feel better soon.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is the most requested question. Given that DAIT has been unable to fully support the creation of the shared inbox, which is essential for record keeping and banking purposes for the past 2 years, as well as address concerns that we've raised, is there a possibility that we don't move forward with these email addresses and we keep the current at schools parent emails? The change would cause significant stress and disruption among parent leaders, and many are concerned about the impact it'll have on their ability to effectively manage their responsibilities. So is it a possibility that the changes will not be implemented?
Thank you, Randy. And I know that this is something that we've been grappling with for a very long time, way before I was chancellor. And so I do want to recognize that I know how frustrating this is. I am meeting with the team today. I hope by now you all know I don't like to overpromise and underdeliver. What I will say is that um, we received a citywide mandate around strengthening our data privacy. This isn't just something that New York City Public Schools picked up on its own. So we are trying to navigate this in a way where we are compliant, particularly where we are making sure that we're doing everything um, to really make sure that we are safeguarding, right, our student privacy, and just having better practices, but also understanding the burden that it puts on all of you. So please don't think that it's not top of mind and that we aren't working at it. I wish I could give you a better answer, but we're still very much working through this. So if you could just continue to give us a little bit of grace, we're trying to continue to work through this.
Okay, is there a possibility for the new schools to get their at schools emails instead of these DOE externals, because they're having trouble with banking and certain issues fundraising?
So I know we have DIIT. I think we have our Deputy Chancellor on with us as well. So I'm going to ask if we can just take that question team back later on, so we could talk about that, and then we can give CPAC an update later on.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, the next question is, CPAC had requested a waiver for Chancellor's Regulations A812 in September of 2023, and that would allow PAs and PTAs to sell snacks more frequently than once a month if they choose. PAs and PTAs are currently facing significant challenges in fundraising, and for many, snack sales are their primary means of raising necessary funds to support the needs of schools and students. So granting a waiver would greatly assist in alleviating financial strain and significantly contribute to fundraising efforts.
Yes, and Dr. Melendez and I have been talking about this. We're excited to propose a way that we think we should move forward. And again, I just want to highlight that this isn't about hindering the fundraising potential for PTAs and PAs. It really is in trying to make sure that our young people are not eating a bunch of junk. We want to make sure that we're trying to really adhere to the mayor's expectations around healthy living in our schools. So I'm going to ask Dr. Melendez to talk a little bit about where she and I landed on this, and if this is something that we still need to have a conversation about, then maybe we could take this offline. But this is the proposal where we landed. Dr. Melendez?
Yes, we're excited to share that there is a previous list, so all of the details we'll have to hash out in more explicit way. But there's a previous list of things that were allowed to be sold in schools or in vending machines that we would propose honoring another fundraiser with a limited list. So it wouldn't be open like the one fundraiser that you currently have, but really thinking about allowing more things, but still very much limited to a very specific list. We also want to connect with our Office of School Foods to make sure that this all makes sense for them as well. But that is what's in the works right now, CPAC, around just honoring another, but still really making sure that we have a very reduced and specific list of what is in that second fundraiser.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate that. Okay, next question. Will the DOE consider updating the transportation regulations? Many aspects of the public transit have changed, significantly impacting middle school students who live in multiple fare zones.
Thank you for that question. And I know we have our Deputy Chancellor on, and I think we might even have some of the folks from transportation. Deputy Chancellor?
Go for it, John.
Yes, hi everybody. John Benson from OPT. Thank you for the question. First, I'd be interested in learning a little bit more about the changes to public transit that you're referencing. I know there's a bus network redesign in Queens. I know there's issues with the A train and the Rockaways. If there's something else going on out there, I would like to hear more about it, but specifically related to transportation eligibility and OmniCard eligibility. The regulations and eligibility aren't changing, but it's important to note the OmniCard structure is different than what it's been in the past. It now includes a fourth swipe. The old student Metro cards were 3 swipes per day, 5:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. Now we have 4 swipes, 24/7 availability. So that should cover multiple fare zones for AM and PM travel. If there's an after-school program off-site involved, schools can also request from us 2-trip Omni cards so the child could get from the school to the after-school program and still have swipes to get home through the multiple fare zones in the afternoon or evening. So they should be covered with up to 6 swipes per day. Hope that answers the question. Thank you.
Thank you. So those are the questions that we had for the chancellor. Other questions we felt would be better redirected to other cabinet members. So should I move forward with?
I mean, we have time. I'm happy to stay on and we can still address them as needed.
I have a question, but for some reason I can't raise my hand.
I'm sorry,
In this
Priscilla.
specific.
I'm sorry about that. Please, please, please give us 1 minute. We have a lot of questions. Randy, can you continue with the questions so we can try to get as many as possible? Priscilla,
Sure.
please write your question in the chat. We'll get to it.
Okay. What should be done when an SLT fails to include parents in the CEP process, lacks data review, and only provides updates instead of meaningful collaboration?
That's a really great question. And we have members of Division of School Leadership as well as Dr. Melendez. So I think this should be answered by both, because the truth is that what we're really trying to drive in this administration is collaboration among our family, community, student empowerment group and our school leaders. You know, we can't have family empowerment do all the work, and we can't have the superintendents and the principals do all of the work. So if we can have both our leaders respond to this.
Sharon, you can start if you want, and then I'll come in.
Thank you, Christina, and thank you, Chancellor, and thank you for the question. So this is really important for us, and you know, we do have in Chancellor's Regulation A655 a process that outlines the expectations for how parents are engaged in a very meaningful way, and we know that's something that we continue to work toward. So SLTs are expected to engage collaboratively, right, in CEP development. The process is informed when they're engaging in the process, which is an annual process, as we know, of CEP development. It's informed by a comprehensive needs assessment that does include an analysis of the school's most current data to identify the school's priority needs and root causes. And this is all expected to be aligned with Priority 5, of course, which focuses on our goal for ensuring parents are engaged in a meaningful way in all processes that involve their children's education. And once the SLT, through the comprehensive needs assessment, clearly understands the school's needs and priorities and root causes, the team uses this progress toward meeting the annual goals and identifying key strategies and their action steps and the professional learning activities, including activities to support parent and family and community empowerment, and also to monitor, of course, the implementation of those. We know that that SLTs do receive training on an annual basis that really outlines these expectations for the meaningful engagement of parents and other stakeholders. But when it doesn't happen to expectation, and by the way, the district team also reviews the CEP and they monitor completion of the activities. But if an SLT is not including parents in a meaningful way, they should first escalate their concerns to the DLT for guidance and support, because the DLT is really the first line of support for SLTs. But if the DLT doesn't respond in a timely manner, or is not able to assist in resolving the issue, then it's expected that the SLT escalate to the superintendent, which in many cases will be the FLC, who's the point on the superintendent's team for supporting SLTs. So we do, expect to continue to provide training and support to DLTs and SLTs and district teams. And we're going to monitor, school compliance and adhering to these expectations. But what we also expect is that parents feel empowered to raise these concerns if they have issues related to how CEP development is occurring, that they would, when they're signing off on SLT, on, the SLT signature page on the CEP, they should not sign if they don't feel that they were engaged in a meaningful way. They have the opportunity to attach comments to indicate what their concerns are, what their issues are. And we're going to encourage and remind superintendents when they are approving CEPs to pay close attention to any absence of parent signatures or the signature of other stakeholders on the CEP signature page. And if a parent has expressed concerns in that process, that they'll be more enabled to intervene and provide support. So I hope that's helpful.
Thank you, Sharon.
I mean, that was comprehensive. All I can say or add to that is if anywhere in there you feel like you're still not being heard, you can definitely email FACE, and we are more than happy to work with Sharon and her team and all of the people outlined to make sure that you get the supports and access that you need. And one thing I'm going to say that we've said before here is that we don't know what we don't know. So if you don't tell us, we can't really be helpful in ensuring that all of the systems are working how they should be. So please feel safe and secure in just letting us know what's happening. We're not going to divulge your name and your information. We're just going to make sure that the process is working and that we're able to support all of the leaders throughout the process to be able to meet the expectations. Sometimes leaders just don't know that these are the expectations. Sometimes they forget. And so we just want to make sure that everyone gets what they need, but we have to know in order to support all of you.
Thank you. Next question. Given the overwhelming workload of family leadership coordinators and family support coordinators, particularly in districts with 45 plus schools, can the DOE consider reconstructing these roles to provide additional staffing for more direct support to families and school communities? Maybe consider having a director who manages such an office and hire more FLCs with each having 5 to 10 schools. They need reorganization and staff for parent engagement and support from districts. So we wanted to suggest maybe having the FLC and FSC's roles work in partnership and be interchangeable, sharing the responsibilities of both positions, because that approach would ensure that critical tasks continue to be completed seamlessly, even when there's a vacancy or someone's on leave, maintaining continuity and supporting the ongoing needs of school communities.
This is a complicated one, and before I pass it over to Dr. Melendez, we definitely want to make sure that superintendents have autonomy and oversight of their teams, and we know that there are pros and cons to both, right? At one point, we had FLCs and FSCs report to FACE. So this is definitely a complicated one that we continue to figure out. But what it does come down to is really strong leadership, and how are we making sure that we're also prioritizing the role of the family leaders, family leader point people on the superintendent teams. So I will pass it over to Dr. Melendez for any additional points, but this is why the collaboration between DSL and us is so important, so that way we're not working in silos. Because regardless of who they report to and adding a director, which it's a great idea. I don't know if that's something that we would be able to do in the immediate future, but regardless of the support, it comes down to who is the person, right? Who is the person in charge? What are the expectations set? And then how do they carry through on that? So Dr. Melendez, passing it over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Chancellor. I think it's a wonderful idea. We would love to have more people supporting families in our schools. I think aside from how different superintendents sort of manage all of those teams, I want to also remind us all that every school, for the most part, and we know that there are vacancies across our city, but for the most part, many of our schools have parent coordinators. And those folks are also part of that team, and extensions to the FLCs and the FSCs. So it's really about making sure, and we continue, both DSL and FACE continue support into our parent coordinators so that they're empowered with all of the resources and information and strategies to make sure that families feel heard, seen, and understood at every interaction at the school, whether it's with them or with school leaders or teachers, et cetera. So those are some of the other things that I also want us to always remember, that PCs are part of that, and we need to continue to pour into them, and FLCs are doing great jobs at like trying to build them as we build the FLCs at Central. So they're not alone.
Thank you. Next question. How can we encourage superintendents to visit our schools, not just for events, but to genuinely engage with parents and hear their concerns? Would it be possible for superintendents to host town halls or attend PTA meetings when requested? Some PAs and PTAs are feeling disconnected and unsupported, and it appears that the level of engagement with district superintendents is not consistent across all schools. The lack of engagement often extends to principals, assistant principals, and teachers, resulting in limited ongoing family involvement. We believe fostering stronger, more meaningful connections between superintendents and PA-PTAs is crucial for creating a supportive and collaborative environment.
So Randy, during this meeting, it's become very clear to me that I myself need to start visiting SLTs and some of the PA-PTA meetings. So what I will ask all of you is if you could please work together to put a list of some of the most urgent places that need support. Obviously, I will be transparent and say that my schedule is a little nutty, which is an understatement, but this is a priority for me, and I think it starts with me, right? So I would love to join some of these meetings and understanding, right, that SLT is very different than the PA-PTA, but if you have a functioning PA and PTA, the likelihood of you having more of a voice on an SLT, an authentic voice on an SLT, is greater. But I would like to visit both across the city. So if you could work with Dr. Melendez to carve out a list of some of the places that I should go to, I would appreciate that. I'd like to accomplish this by June. And in terms of our superintendents, I believe that they all have really great intentions and want to do these visits. I think that it's also making sure that the family empowerment piece continues to be a priority that I set as the chancellor. So the same way that we make these opportunities to meet with elected officials and other important stakeholders, family leaders also have to be at the top of that list. So I will communicate that to them, that where possible, they should really be leaning into these spaces. But I also want to just say that I truly believe that what you expect from your team has to start with you. So I want to take that on myself.
Thank you so much.
Chancellor, if I can just add to that.
Please.
So part of the superintendent's role is observations, going into schools and observing practice of what is happening. They do 2 PPO visits to school communities. One is an announced visit and the second is unannounced. And part of that process is that they speak to all the stakeholders in the school community, including parents. And so I just wanted to lift that up in the space to let you all know that that is part of the superintendent's role. You shared about the unannounced visit, and one of those visits is unannounced. Also, superintendents are making rounds in their school community all the time. And part of our expectation is that not all the visits are announced and that you are building relationships with the people in the community. So Chancellor, I will also reiterate that to our superintendents as well.
No, thank you so much.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Next questions are for Face. We do have some questions. Should I ask the questions for, we believe, Chris Tricarico and Kevin Moran? We'll go there first. Okay. So speaking about unannounced, Can unannounced school cafeteria walkthroughs be implemented to inspect food quality as there are ongoing concerns?
Interesting. We have another great question. Where do we have our team?
Chancellor, I'm on. It's Chris
Oh,
Carrico.
Chris.
Thank you for that question and good morning all. Great idea. Unannounced school cafeteria walkthroughs can certainly be implemented to assess food quality and address ongoing concerns. In fact, unannounced visits are already conducted regularly by the Office of Food and Nutrition Services as well as the New York City Department of Mental Health and Hygiene. These inspections are essential for ensuring compliance with food safety regulations, maintaining high food quality standards, and of course, prompting addressing any concerns that may arise. We will continue to do them, but it's a great idea.
Thank you. I have two more questions for you then. Meal schedules in some schools are problematic with students eating either too early or too late. What solutions are being considered to address this issue?
It's a great question. We work closely with the school administration for scheduling all meal service periods. It's a great collaboration with principals, but we do understand sometimes that there are schools that have a capacity issue where we do serve breakfast and lunch at either an early or a late time. The federal program requires us to serve meals between 10 and 2. However, when we do have a waiver in place for schools that are at capacity, we can serve meals before 10 or after 2. But I think we all realize those are really, really early times. So we do offer grab and go both breakfast and lunch, as well as having principals schedule times for students to come during the day when they have free time to grab lunch if they are scheduled in an either earlier time or a late time. But we'll continue to work closely with principals. We do this at the beginning of every school year. We do this always over breaks to kind of revise the times that are happening. But we do know school schedules are very important for principals, so we work closely with them.
Randy, if I could jump in, I apologize, but I do have a hard stop now. So before, we continue, I just wanted to say goodbye to everyone. Thank you for everything. And I just want to end by saying, I so deeply appreciate this space. It's always so productive, such great suggestions and thoughtful questions. This is just a model for how we should be working together. And I'm just so deeply appreciative of it because in these moments, this is where true collaboration across stakeholder groups matters so much. So thank you for making this such a great experience. Thank you to the team as always for showing up, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Chancellor. Feel better.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Okay, Chris, you're still on. Okay, so the next question is, oh, my screen just split. Oh my goodness. Can the DOE revisit the one meal rule for breakfast and lunch? Some students request additional servings but are denied due to policy. Despite the food waste occurring, can surplus food be redistributed to those in need?
Great question, Randy. It does come up often. As we all know, the National School Lunch Program is a federally assisted meal program that provides free meals to New York City public school students, and that's all students in our school food authority, including charters and non-public. The guidelines do not allow for second meals. However, the New York City public schools have implemented programs to assist with this. The one major thing we've done in the past couple of years is the share table. All uneaten food that can go onto the share table can be redistributed to students who are hungry and or sent to pantries that we connect schools to. We also have several other programs, including a partnership with CBOs to be able to fund and pay for and supply food for after school programs. That is one of the main options when we know students are attending, particularly the athletes that are part of some of our bigger programs. We also know food waste is continually an issue, so we encourage students to take those items that they want to eat. As we all know, we can serve up to 5 items, and students can have to take 3, but they can be served up to 5, which is a great opportunity for them to fill their tray. And the other thing we all are very proud of, and we've been implementing for the past several years, is a great salad bar. Salad bars are not part of the National Lunch Program. They are something the New York City Department of Education public school system pays for. So students can go up and back and forth to the salad bar as many times as they like. We continue to receive ideas about how to utilize our food within the schools, and we'll continue to listen to the school communities about what's needed in each school.
Okay, last one, I'm sorry. Some schools lack playground time due to long-term construction projects. What can be done to expedite these projects and to ensure students have outdoor activity time?
Randy, I'm going to pass that question to Kevin Moran.
Okay.
Good morning, Rosa and Randy, extended CPAC family. That's a wonderful question. Right now, the New York City Public Schools, we work with our partners at the School Construction Authority to make sure that we're looking at every project, long-term or short-term, to try to find efficiencies to complete in a timely manner. I would say at the school level, the project we walk, there's a constraint on time and effort as it relates to scheduling. Some schools go till 6 p.m. Some schools stay open later and beacon programs into the evening. Construction time is limited. So when we look at timeline and scope of project and timelines, that kind of changes things differently when we have access to the buildings. And if we work late, noise complaints and things of that nature. So the timeline is small when we're working with the school community on scheduling. What I would say around space, we have a variety of different projects that are long-term in nature. The one you're probably speaking about is our exterior modernization, where we take all the bricks off the building, the parapet, we change the windows, and we do different things, maybe even a flood elimination. With that comes a lot of equipment. Our goal in every project is to reduce our square footage footprint. But when you're bringing, material and equipment onto a site, you do need a certain square footage for all the bricks or all the windows and all the crane usage. There's also issues around scaffolding and placement of scaffolding for safety. So we actually, submit our plan to the Department of Buildings on where scaffoldings could be, so it may creep out onto a playground. But that being said, we're looking to expedite our projects and increase the outdoor space. We have playgrounds in particular, they do close when we do construction for safety purposes, and there's $60 million in the next capital plan to address playground upgrades. So there will be more playgrounds, unfortunately, that go offline as we upgrade. But the goal here, Randy, to the question is how do we efficiently program it and work with the school on scheduling to make sure it happens timely. Any specific cases, I think you all have my email and my cell phone. I'd love to get out there and walk the playground with you, make sure that the kids do indeed have access to the playground, especially with the weather going to be breaking and stop raining and snowing soon. So count me in on any escalations you can send. We'll work with the team and our partners at the SCA to get to the bottom of any issues that you're seeing. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. Next.
Absolutely. I'm sorry, Randy, can I just
Go ahead.
Thank you. Kevin, is there probably like a list or something of current construction being happening in all our schools that we can CPAC may be able to elevate, like expedite it? Because I have a couple of specific schools that have been there for the past probably 10 years. So can we work on it together?
Yes, absolutely. I can connect us. We could do another meeting with the School Construction Authority and look at areas. We just did this with a council individual yesterday that was inquiring about her catchment area. Be delighted to support there, let you know where the projects are. And then if there's ones that appear to be stuck, like what are the focus supports we need to provide to get it moving along.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you, Randy.
Next question is for Mark Ramperson. He's still here, right? Yeah, I see. Okay. School safety remains a major concern across districts. What steps are being taken to address this? Before you answer, Mark, I just want to thank you so much because you're always available to us, and you had said that if we need to reach out for anything, please do so. And we had an issue with a school, a high school, and we reached out to you and you immediately responded and, got that school taken care of. So we appreciate that. Mark?
I want to also echo the same thing that Randy said. I feel so safe and protected. Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm out of school and I was kind of listening to something. So if there was a compliment in there for me, thank you for that. And if there was a question, please repeat it. I apologize.
That was great. Okay, so there was a compliment. Thank you. So the question is, school safety remains a major concern across districts.
Sure.
So what steps are being taken to address this?
Absolutely. So thank you, first of all, for recognize that you feel safe and that we respond quickly to any calls of safety concerns. I really appreciate that. Again, New York City Public Schools take safety and security very, very seriously. It is the top of everything that we do, right? So non-safe schools will make for not impossible learning to take place. So some of the things that we're doing, just as a point of information, I'd like to start out by sharing with you, overall crime related to schools is down, incidents in schools down, weapon possession in schools down, and suspensions overall down, right? So we're doing the work, right? And while we see slight decreases, a decrease is a decrease. I'll take it any day of the week. We are continuing to remind our schools of the importance of working with our respective communities in order to ensure safety and security for our students, not only in school, but as they transition throughout the communities. So therein lies our relationships with our community partners, our community-based organizations, faith-based organizations, as well as our partners, external partners in the NYPD and the School Safety Division. One of the things that we continue to talk about is our weekly conversations that our principals are having with their local precincts, just to talk about any issues of concern, shortfalls as it relates to the number of the school safety agents, and how NYPD can supplement that backfill, right, with police officers who are out on the perimeter of our schools and patrolling the safe passage and safe corridor routes. Our monthly meeting that our superintendents are having with borough commanders, just to remind them of that meeting that principals are having, and just reiterating the importance of those respective relationships. So again, our borough safety directors, of which I'm hoping that CEC members know, are working with them, right? They have a monthly task force meeting where we're bringing out either principals or their respective designees to hear about updated safety trends and things that we want them to sort of keep their eyes on and watch out for. Every one of our schools has to have a monthly safety committee meeting, of which I'm hoping that the PTA presidents are present for. And there is an opportunity for you to learn about the different things that are happening in the school, the issues that our schools may have, and the ways by which we're mitigating some of those concerns. So again, safety is paramount for us, and we continue to forge ahead to ensure safety and security for our students, our visitors, and our families alike. So thank you very much for the question.
Thank you, Mark. I just want to add, because I know that you dealt directly with a concern that I had raised to you and you dealt with it immediately, but I just want to let everyone know on CPAC that the chancellor and her team are very, very responsive. Everyone that's here today on this meeting, if they tell you to reach out to them and they will get back to you and they will resolve an issue, they will absolutely do it. That, sometimes you have to wait, because sometimes you do need to wait to get a response. But every single person that's here today, they are all outstanding and amazing and work so closely with us. And when we do have issues that arise, they immediately get back to us and help us. So if you do need that help and they tell you, reach out, this is my email, please reach out to them and they will offer assistance and support. So thank you, everyone, the chancellor and her team, everyone that's on this call. You guys do really, you rock.
Thank you.
Okay.
And it is a testament. You guys are always ready and willing to help us. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate it.
Okay, so I'm going to move on to the questions for the FACE team. So I guess this would be Jesse and Anthony. We don't know who else is on the call right now. What measures are in place to ensure accountability from FACE and the district office when parents raise concerns, and how can transparency and responsiveness be improved?
Thank you, Randy, for that question. So, as you know, FACE is part of the escalation ladder when families have concerns, particularly with regards to parent leadership structures, which are under our purview. And when raising concerns, it's important to start first at the school level, discussing your questions with the parent coordinator and other administrators. If the concern is not addressed there, you elevate it to your superintendent's office, to their family support coordinator or the FLC. And if that concern is still not addressed, then it comes to FACE, where we connect with our partners all throughout the central offices to resolve any concerns that we receive. A lot of the escalations, like, we work very closely with our partners throughout the system, so we kind of emphasize the escalation protocol, and then where those concerns are not able to be resolved at the school level, as I mentioned before, we go to the district. If not able to be resolved there, it comes to central, and then we work with our partners throughout the system to be able to address the concern and also to resolve the issue from occurring again.
Okay, thank you. I just want to say I'm kind of like the unofficial timekeeper, and because I was asking the questions, I didn't keep track of time. We're a little over. And we need to go on to CPAC business. So would it be okay if we ask base to respond to the rest of the questions in an email and we can share them with the members? Would that be okay?
If we can expedite the questions, like really fast questions, so we can like get to a couple of them that have not already been, addressed. Because most of them have been already addressed, even by Anthony.
I just want to make sure that the members are on long enough to pass the resolutions or oppose the resolutions and approve the minutes. Like if they drop off, we won't have them on. You know what I mean? We could go back to questions if they're still here.
Yes, yes, yes. You're
Your
right.
decision, Chair.
Yes, yes, yes. You're right, Randy. No, no, no. You're right. Thank you so much for answering all the questions. And let us move on with the minutes to approve them or not. Okay, so I'm gonna put the minutes. 1 second. Bear with me, please. Where are the minutes? Right. Am I sharing the minutes? I cannot see anyone. Please unmute, say yes.
Yes, yes, you are.
Thank you so much. Okay, here are the minutes for October of 2024. Thank you so much, Josephine, for stepping up and drafting the minutes, which are like 4 pages. This is the minutes where we held elections at the very end. Please review the minutes real quick. I'm gonna try to go over them, but the roll call, the districts present was District 4, District 8, 17, 20, 21, 22, 26, 30. Manhattan High School, myself, Queens High School in Staten Island. I believe, yes, yes, yes. The live stream coordinator was present, and we adopted the September minutes. Just keep on going with the CPAC business. We had guest speakers providing information about the A660 Article 2 on President's Council rights and responsibility. We spoke about the standing committees. We provided CPAC updates, FACE provided FACE updates. We had our former Chancellor Banks discuss about the AI in the future, how it will support our children, and also discuss the transition from to our new Chancellor, Melissa Velez Ramos. See, and then of course we had a sad moment where Shirley said her goodbyes, and we thank her for all of her support and continued support of in our committee meetings. We'll also say goodbye to Jimmy Brown, Jesse Rivera, and Adriana Alicia, who are still doing the work, by the way. I know because I attend the meetings. And we also had a CPAC election. We adjourned and we had CPAC elections. Shirley opened the meeting and we had nominations on the floor. As you can see, I nominated myself for chairperson, and there was no objections. Everyone said yes. Same thing with Randy. She nominated herself for the first vice president. No objections from any of the members. And Erica, second vice president. Again, no objections from any of the members. Ashley Mulero, the recurring secretary, no objections from any of the members. Rebecca Staley nominated herself for treasurer, and there was no objections from the members. Josephine Cangelosi nominated herself for corresponding secretary. The membership voted and no objections. Now that we review the minutes, can I please have a motion to adopt the October minutes? Please, I did not see who was that motion.
Rosa, Rachel wrote in the chat that she was in attendance at that meeting.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Rosa, that Rachel wrote in the chat that she was in attendance at the meeting. Can you scroll up? Did we miss her in the attendance?
Yes, 1 second. Okay. We had District 4, District 8, District 17, District 20, 21, 22, 26, 30. Manhattan High School, Queens High School, and Staten Island.
Okay, so we could motion with the amendment. I do have her on my list that she was there at the meeting.
Okay. Are you making the motion, Randy?
Sure. I make a motion to amend the minutes to recognize Rachel was at the meeting.
Okay. Anyone second the
District 8
motion?
seconds. District 8 seconds.
Thank you, Erica. Okay. Randy, do you want to do roll call? Oh, what am I talking about?
For the minutes?
I'm sorry. I'm so used to doing roll call. Okay. And we are gonna do right now the resolutions. Resolutions. Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay, we did this. And there is a, okay, 1 second. Sorry about that. I literally lost it. Okay. All right, now I'm ready. Apologies. Okay. And does everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Okay, we have the first resolution is enhancing multilingual support and communications in New York City Public School by updating Chancellor's Regulation A663 to current needs. Okay, I know that CPAC Multilingual Language Learners Committee approved it on January 27th. Thank you so much to Dr. Darling, Mira May, and Charlie Oven, of course. Okay. Whereas Governor Kathy Hochul establishment of the Office Language Access on October 3rd of 2022 solidifies New York State commitment to national leadership in language access, guiding executive state agencies to provide interpretation services in any language and translate vital documents into the top 12 most commonly spoken known languages with flexibility for additional languages based on regional needs, to acknowledging the diverse linguistic backgrounds within the New York City Public Schools community, which necessitates enhanced support. 3, recognizing that language barriers can result in educational disparities, negatively impacting students by limiting access to crucial information related to education policies and resources. Number 4, identifying the need to enhance parental awareness of their rights within the educational system, emphasizing access to information in their home languages, understanding the Department of Education's responsibility to foster inclusivity, ensuring all families have equal access to essential information regardless of linguistic background. So now, therefore, be it resolved that the Multilingual Learning Committee of CPAC urges the Chancellor to update the Chancellor's Regulation A663 to align with current New York State language access regulations, ensuring the system of language selection accommodates the diverse linguistic needs of New York City Public Schools community and provide permanent translation and interpretation services in at least the top 12 non-English spoken in New York's the top 12 non-English languages spoken in New York State as per new language access law, plus additional languages identified through regional needs assessment for documents, announcements, meetings, parent-teachers conferences, critical communications from the Chancellor's Central's office. Number 2, enhance parental awareness of their rights and the significance of the home language questioning in identifying students requiring ESL services. Number 3, clarify ELL identification process through the New York State ITELL, focuses on early education students who may transition without adequate ESL support. Number 4, develop after-school enrichment programs in home languages to support young learners recovering from pandemic-related learning loss. Number 5, improve communication and responsiveness from the Chancellor's Central Office regarding critical issues affecting students and parents. Number 6, develop teacher training programs in all bilingual languages to better serve the linguistically diverse student population. Number 7, provide student workforce in various languages to facilitate language opportunities, explore and implement new technology and tools to enhance multilingual support and communications. CPAC, Multilanguage Learning Committee, is committed to ensuring every student and their family have equal access to the resources and information they need to thrive in our diverse educational community. This resolution reflects our dedication to promoting inclusivity, eliminating language barriers, and fostering a more equitable and supportive educational environment for all. We look forward to collaborating with the Department of Education to implement these vital improvements. There you have it. After reading it, of course, can I please have a motion to adopt this resolution?
Motion to adopt the resolution.
I'm sorry, I'm unable to see who made the motion.
It was Ashley. It's me, Rosa.
Thank you, Ashley.
You're welcome.
Anyone seconds it?
Adriana seconded in the chat.
Thank you so much. Do you want to do roll call, Randy, please?
Sure, there's a question in the chat about it being New York City Public Schools instead of Department of Education. The language
Right.
to change it from
Okay.
DOE to New York City Public Schools.
Thank you. We can do that amendment. Ashley, do you want to revise your motion?
Sure.
Thank you so much. With that amendment, we have Ashley motion to adopt this resolution enhancing multilingual support and communications in New York City Public School by updating Chancellor's Regulation A663 to current needs. And we have Adriana that seconded. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. So if you're in favor, say yes. If you're not in favor, say no. Or if you abstain, say that you abstain. District 1.
Yes.
District 2. District 2, by the way, I'm sorry, they're excused. They had sent an email. District 3. District 4.
Yes.
District 5. District 6.
Yes.
District 7.
Yes.
District 8. District 8. Maybe she stepped away. District 9. District 9. District 10.
Erica put in the chat, yes. District 8.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so 8. is yes. 9 did not answer, 10 did not answer, 11 is not here, 12. District 12? District 13 is not here, District 14 is not here, District 15,
Yes.
District 16, District 17, District 18,
Yes.
District,
Yes. 17, yes.
thank you, Veronica. District 19,
I'm sorry, District 16 is yes as well. Sorry.
District 16, District 19,
Yes.
District 20, District 20, District 21,
Yes.
District 22,
Yes.
23, 24,
Yes.
25,
Yes.
26,
Yes.
27, District 27, 28, District 28, 29,
Yes.
30,
Yes.
31,
Yes.
32, not here. District 75,
Yes.
you vote yes. Okay, thank you. Brooklyn High School is a yes. Bronx High School is not here. Manhattan High School,
Yes.
Queens High School. Queens High School is abstain. And Staten Island High School.
Yes.
Thank you. We have 1, 2, 3. Twenty-two yeses. The resolution passes.
Yes, and one abstain. Thank you so much, Kai. Let's go to the next one. Okay, Randy, I'm going to pass the baton to you so you can read it.
Oh, I cannot say. I'm literally sitting here waiting to like pause so I can go get water. Can I pass it to Erica? I'm sorry. I need to get water.
Go ahead. Is anyone available to read anyone from the executive board available to read the next resolution? Going once? Okay, Rosa will do it. So this next one is very deep to my heart. Resolution affirming the status of New York City public schools as a welcoming district for all students. The Multilingual Language Learners Committee approved it on January 27th of 2025. Thank you again, Shirley Ovin and Dr. Darling. Whereas the Chancellor's Parent Advisory Council wholeheartedly embraces its commitment to creating and maintaining a safe and welcoming environment for all New York City public schools, students, and staff. And whereas it is the policy of CPAC to abide, uphold, and prohibit unlawful discrimination, harassment, and retaliation on the basis of sexual orientation, gender or sex, race or ethnicity, ethnic group identification, ancestry, nationality, national origin, religion, color, mental or physical disability, age, immigration status, marital status, registered domestic partner status, genetic information, political belief or affiliation, military military status, or in the basis of a person's association with a person or group with one or more of these actual or perceived characteristics in the educational program or activities in New York New York City Public Schools operates, and whereas New York City Public Schools reflects the diverse population of the world, which the district celebrates in many ways through students' daily experience, and whereas all New York City Public staff and students are entitled to their First Amendment right to free speech, bad harassment, discrimination, and bias-based harm have no place in New York City Public Schools community and will not be tolerated. And whereas New York City Public School students, staff, and their families originate from many different countries besides the United States, may live in households where family members have different immigration and citizenship statuses, may be beneficiaries of the Deferred Action for Child Arrivals, DACA, temporary protected status, TPS, or similar forms of humanitarian relief, or may be undocumented, or may live in mixed status households. And in Plyler versus DOE, 1982, the United States Supreme Court held that all immigrant children are people in any ordinary sense of the term and hence protected from discrimination under the 14th Amendment, and that all children, regardless of their immigration status, have the right to a free public education, and whereas New York State guarantees the right to individuals aged 5 to 21 to free public school education, regardless of nationality or immigration status, and prohibits discrimination. And whereas New York State Human Rights Law, Section 4 states, it shall be unlawful discriminatory practice for an educational institution to deny the use of its facility to any person otherwise qualified by reason of his or their citizenship or immigration status. Whereas New York City Public Schools offers free public education to students from kindergarten all the way to age 21, as per Chancellors Regulation 8101, and protects them from discrimination as per Chancellors Regulation 8360, 830, apologies, 831, and 832. And whereas New York State, as per Governor's Executive Order 170 and the New York City by its administrative codes, Section 9-131, 9-205, 10-178, and 14-154 limits the interaction of local law enforcement agencies with immigration and custom enforcements. And whereas New York City adheres to protocols for non-local enforcements and school administrators follow Chancellor's Regulation A412, and whereas Chancellor's Regulation A780 defines the right of students in temporary housing, and along with the Chancellor's Regulation 820 outlines the data and privacy protection of New York City Public Schools students are entitled to, and whereas former Chancellor Banks committed to combat all forms of hate in New York City Public Schools, including anti-Semitism and Islamophobia, and whereas the Chancellor's Parent Advisory Council has and will continue to create and adopt resolutions and position letters to protect all New York City Public School students. Whereas New York City Public Schools reflects the diverse population of the world, which the district celebrates in many ways through a student's daily experience. Whereas Chancellor Ramos affirmed her New York City Public Schools commitment to maintain a safe and supportive environment for our students, staff, and families. Whereas students and staff deserve a safe and supportive space to progress, process, grieve, share, reflect, learn, and take action together. New York City Public Schools encourages engagement with students to discuss difficulty, controversial, or emotional charged topics in a safe and productive manner. In doing so, New York City Public Schools provides guidance and resources for supporting, managing, and reflecting on students' civil discourse, civic learning, and civic engagement. This includes recognizing the factors that have shaped perspective, including life experience, family, culture, and identity. The purpose is to provide space where young people generate questions, explore their curiosity, strengthen their civic skills, and analyze aspects of our society and government. Whereas New York City Public Schools is committed to ensuring students have access to high quality, well rounded, rigorous, and joyful education. Now, therefore, be hereby resolved that the Chancellor's Parent Advisory Council will stand and support that one, New York City Public Schools will always welcome all students, staff, and their families regarding of identity, gender, religious background, and legal status. Two, New York City Public Schools will work along its union partners and immigration advocates to provide training and support for student staff and their families on immigration rights, understanding various legal statuses, potential avenues for immigration relief, and the overall health and well-being of those affected. New York City Public Schools will provide multi-language resources for its students, staff, and their families in partnership with the city on legal assistance, immigrants' rights, health and mental health care, and public safety. New York City schools will make available on its website current issues and events page multilingual service resources for the students, staff, and their families in partnership with the city on legal assistance, immigrant rights, mental health care, and public safety available for all New York City public students and families. CPAC website will continue to provide resources and information to support all our scholars, families, and communities in New York City Public Schools. New York City's public schools will include in its legislative agenda advocacy at the state and federal levels for deferred action for childhood arrivals, which is DACA, temporary protective status, TPS, and refugee settlement programs, as well as oppose any legislation for the creation of a Muslim registry system and eroding civil rights protection upon our communities. Number 6, in order to provide public education regardless of a child's or family member's immigration status, absent any applicable federal, state, or local law, regulation, ordinance, or court decision, the district shall abide by the following conduct. 1. New York City Public Schools personnel should not inquire about or record a student's or family member's immigration status and the immigration status of any students in other personality identifiable information. Number 2, any communications to federal agents or officials initiated by a school or school personnel concerning confidential information about a student or a student's family member, including but not limited to information about gender identity, sexual orientation, status as a survivor of domestic violence, survivor of sexual assault, crime witness, recipient of public assistance, actual or perceived immigration or citizenship status, national origin, school discipline record, and all information included in an individual's or household income tax record, is prohibited unless permission is granted by the student or student's parent or guardian. Number 3, New York City Public Schools shall refuse all voluntary information sharing with immigration agents across all aspects of the district to the fullest extent possible under the law. Any request by immigration agents for any information or to access a school site shall be initially denied and immediately forwarded to the superintendent and council for review and a decision on whether to reverse the denial and allow access to the site, and or a decision on whether the information will ensure district compliance with Plyler versus DOE and other applicable laws. The request must be provided with adequate notice so that the superintendent and general counsel can take steps to provide the emotional and physical safety of its students and staff. A. Should an immigration agent request access to a school site, the superintendent and or general counsel shall ask for immigration agent's credential as the agent why the agent is requesting access and ask to see a warrant signed by a federal or state judge. B. Immigration agents must provide written authority from ICE instructing them to enter district property and for what purpose, as well as warrants signed by a federal or state with which specifies the name of the person under arrest. New York City Public Schools will not enter into agreement with state or local law enforcement agency, ICE, or any other federal agency for the enforcement of federal immigration law except as required by law. Number 6, the New York City Public School and its staff, faculty, employees, and school safety agents will not honor any ICE detainers or requests. New York City Public Schools does not consent to granting non-local law enforcement agencies, including U.S. Immigration and Custom Enforcement, ICE, access to school facilities, students, or students' records for immigration enforcement purposes. Therefore, the absence exigent circumstances, ICE will not be granted access without a judicial warrant, which must be submitted to the senior field counsel for review and detailed guidance on how to proceed. Number 7, school safety agents are prohibited from inquiring about or recording any information regarding an individual's immigration status or country of birth. Number 8, school safety agents shall create a policy acknowledging that they have no authority to enforce federal immigration law, declaring that they will not participate in immigration enforcement efforts of federal authorities. This includes SSA, not holding people on ICE detainers, not responding to ICE notification or transfer requests, not making arrests based on civil immigration warrants, and not allowing ICE to use campus facilities for immigration enforcement purposes. Number 9, New York City Public Schools personnel shall treat all students equitable in the receipt of all student services, including but not limited to the free and reduced lunch program, transportation, and educational instruction. Number 7, New York City Public Schools will work alongside educators and elected officials committed to maintaining a curriculum that reflects our students' identities and lived experiences and protecting our schools as spaces where our students feel safe, welcome, and valued for who they are. Number 8, New York City Public Schools will advocate for respectable DHS shelter placement of as many of students and families as possible. New York City schools, public schools, the PEP, and the Chancellor's Parent Advisory Council will work in collaboration with the mayor's office and its various agencies to maintain the dignity and humanity of all New York City residents, including our newest New Yorkers. Number 10, and finally, New York City public schools will always, always, always welcome all students, staff, and their families, regardless of immigration status. CPAC, a multi-language learners committee, is committed to ensuring every student and their family have equal access to resources and information they need to thrive in our diverse educational community. This resolution reflects our dedication to promoting inclusivity, eliminating language barriers, and fostering a more equitable and supportive educational environment for all. We look forward to collaborating with the New York City Department of Education to implement these vital improvements. Now that I've read everything, I believe it was 5 pages, can I please have a motion to adopt the second resolution?
I give the motion, Rosa.
Thank you so much, Bandana. Second motion.
Rosa, excuse me a second. I just want to point out that Rachel wrote in the chat the same thing for the DOE and the New York City Public Schools to make that amendment.
Yes, thank you so much. Bandana, can you revise your motion to change Department of Education to New York City Public Schools?
I revise to change.
Thank you so much. And with that, we have Vandana making the first motion and District 19, Sheree making the second motion, right? Oh, Shakima, sorry.
No, I was wanting to say too, can we also take out when you said how to get the students or the family's permission for the information? Can we take out the student because some if they're not 18 and older, they can't make the decision to give their families important information.
I like that. I like that very much. Is everyone in agreement with that? I totally agree because, a child that is 5 years old cannot give permission, right? Yes.
Absolutely agree.
Thank you so much for your amendment, Bandana. We shall do that. And with that, we will do roll call.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, District 1.
Yes.
District 2 is not here. District 3. District 4.
Yes.
District 5. District 6.
Yes.
District 7.
Yes.
District 8.
Yes.
District 9. District 9. District 10. 10, 11, and 9 here. District 12. District 13 is not here. 14 is not here. 15.
Yes.
16. 17.
Yes.
18.
I'm sorry, I'm 16, guys.
Yes, 17, yes.
Okay, thank you, Veronica. 18. District 18. 19.
Yes.
20. 21.
Yes.
22.
Yes.
23. 24.
Yes.
25. Rachel had wrote in the chat that she voted yes and she had to leave. 26.
Yes.
27. 28. 28. 29.
Yes.
30.
Yes.
31.
No.
32. District 75. Oh, she wrote in the chat, yes, in case device dies. Brooklyn High School, yes. Bronx High School is not here. Manhattan High School,
Yes.
Queens High School. She wrote in the chat, yes. And Staten Island High School.
No.
Okay, we have.
Actually, change 24 to no.
I'm sorry?
Change 24 to no.
Okay. Go back, 1, 2, 3. We have 19 yeses and 3 nos. So the resolution passed.
Yes, thank you so much to everyone for your voice. And let us move on with the agenda. We're really past time. Okay. Let me put on my slides once again. Apologies. 1 second. Okay, hopefully you guys can see my slides. I already went through all of this. Thank you so much. Okay, so we have, just in case for anyone that does not know, our next meeting is March 13. This is the email for CPAC. These are the dates that we currently meet, and they are being sent out every single month, including with the standing rules and the bylaws and any resolutions that we currently voted on. And just wanted to advise everyone that we are going to be making a couple of changes together, the executive board. We're going to be restructuring the committees. A lot of the committees are not meeting due to members that are not attending, obviously. And together we're going to be assigning new chairs. I do know that, of course, the multi-language learners did meet, and I was part of the meeting. Thank you so much for your hard work. And the high schools committee is still meeting also. And I know that the Title I, Jimmy is still holding those meetings. Thank you very, very much. And let's see. Okay. So a little bit about us, and I remind everyone every single month, right? We are elected parent leaders representing all New York City public students, schools, their families. We also represent and support school staff. We are comprised of 38 President's Council. That means districts and boroughs. The CPAC ensures the parents' voice are heard. We are always striving for excellence, equity, and opportunity for all. We collaborate with different stakeholders and work together to provide the useful and accurate information. And lastly, uh, a little reminder, right? To during this season of love, focus not just on the ones closest to you, but your surrounding, and also reminding ourselves that self-care is real, right? We need it. I know for myself, I need that. I need to listen to myself sometimes. These will ensure, and improve your physical, mental, social, and emotional well-being. Self-care is essential to continue supporting others, especially because we are aspiring leaders, and we have a lot of roles, and we support a lot of families, and our responsibilities are really great. Prioritize a date and time for you. Okay, with that being said, I think we're really past our time. Um, does anyone want to make, or do we want to continue with questions to face, or do we want to adjourn? I leave it to all the members.
District 31, motion to adjourn.
Oh, District 29 did have a question that went unanswered, and it's a very critical one. Would you please allow for me to ask my question?
Of course, go ahead.
Thank you so much. Question, I think, for OPT and School Construction Authority with regards to the DSF issues, the payment. I'm on the building enhancement team in my district, and it looks like payments from 2022 had issues and schools not getting the upgrades, the payments. It seems to be an issue just from that specific year. So labs and things that would have fallen under Res OA that get paid through the DSF are having issues. So I wanted an update on how we can go about getting those things expedited. And number two, with regards to busing, this is a gray area. I'm not sure if this is for PEP or for CEC or for both regarding the resolution to change the busing policy with respect to schools that sit on dual districts. I do recall some of our members also have schools that do sit on dual districts where we face challenges with the MTA and the way our city's transportation system has shaped. So, although I know these laws are set in place, there are some exception schools. Rather than families having to put in multiple exceptions, would they be willing to list those schools as exceptions as a resolution with those specific schools listed? These are critical concerns from my community and from some of the members that I've heard in the past.
Okay, so transportation is not here. They had left. We can ask if Anthony, our liaison, can bring that back to OPT. As far as your first question about payment for the vendors for DSF, that would go to Kevin Moran. He's also not here. So we can see if we can get Anthony to ask Kevin that question, OPT. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank on his name, but Anthony? Who's OPT?
Are you referring to Randy, John Benson?
Yes. So can we get Priscilla's two questions to
Sure. Yeah, we'll
Kevin?
absolutely. We'll note those questions, Priscilla, and we'll to John and to Kevin, and we'll definitely follow up. So I'll connect with Anthony.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mojica, and thank you so much for sharing your story. It was very captivating.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I also see that someone wrote in the chat that they were having the same issue. Maybe we can also include District 24, Matt. They're having the same issue in their district. So we can also elevate that. So with those questions that are pending response, hopefully we'll have them either sent out via email or probably for our next meeting. And with that, I will take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Oh, you're doing the motion. You're doing the motion.
District 31 again, motion to adjourn the meeting.
Okay.
District 9 motion second to adjourn the meeting.
Right. Shakima did the motion and 31 second the motion. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day. Remember, self-care, take it easy. Parents and students rely on you. We rely on you. Keep on coming next month. Enjoy Black History Month, Dominican Month, Health Hearth, all the beautiful wonders of the world. And we'll see you next month. Thank you so much.
Happy Valentine's Day, midwinter recess, everybody. Bye.
Same to you.
Yay! Thank you for that. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Rosa.
1 second.